Hi everyone, those just join in. Welcome to the next session. This is the last one, I think, before lunch for some people. If you haven't used Slido already, then I encourage you to download the app and raise questions if we've got chance at the end. Might not be, might be, let's see. But yeah, if you could do that for us, that would be absolutely great. We've got two guests here today talking around the case study of engaging a diverse multi-generational workforce at E.ON using future-proof benefits technology. So we've got Hazel and Ben. We'll hand over to you. And as I said, if we've got questions, we'll cover them. If not, I guess you've got a stand here today that we have find you on stand number
7.
Stand number
Testing
7.
you now, but yeah.
Perfect.
7.
Okay.
Great. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us. For those of you, a few familiar faces, but for those of you that don't know me, my name is Ben Couriel. I'm Director of People Experience Consulting with Gallagher. Absolutely thrilled to be here today with one of our amazing clients, E.ON, to help share the story of the journey that E.ON have been on from a benefits technology perspective to drive better outcomes for their people and for their business. Now, many people associate Gallagher with as being a big multinational insurance player and also very proud sponsors of the Gallagher Rugby Premiership. But beyond that, we also have a deep expertise when it comes to helping our clients devise and then execute on their people strategies. So we have a full-service reward and benefits practice, which includes an award-winning benefits technology platform. More about that shortly. But we also have specialist practices focused on pensions and investments, on digital and cultural transformation, and on communications. In fact, some of you may have attended the masterclass roundtable we ran this morning on revolutionising benefits communications. As part of this, Gallagher runs an annual benefits strategy and benchmarking survey, the output from which is this workforce trends report. Now, I might be slightly biased here, but I'd say that this has gone from, I think, the 14 years it's been running, from having something of a cult following to being perhaps the authoritative insight reports on organisational well-being. Now, this year, the top 3 challenges that we identified actually have remained pretty static over the last 2 or 3 years. And they are, number 1 has been around, having to do more with less. So we've got ever-increasing employee expectations, and we've got spiralling medical costs and benefit costs, and ever tighter budgets. So this challenge of having to do more with less. Number 2 is around communication. Seems to be a kind of perennial problem for us all, is, helping our colleagues understand the benefits that are available to them and the value of them. And then number 3 is actually how can we design and then deploy a benefits offering that appeals and engages to a diverse workforce and across multiple generations, all of whom with divergent and often very, very different priorities and needs. Now, there's many reasons that I love this case study and this customer success story of E.ON's, but I think above all it's because it really showcases the way that E.ON are leading the way when it comes to addressing challenges that many of us globally are grappling with. So with that, I'm delighted to be here with Hazel Mainwaring. Hazel, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you. I'm really pleased to be here with you all today. I'm Hazel Mainwaring. I'm the Reward and Performance Lead Consultant at E.ON UK, one of the UK's leading energy companies. And our purpose is to lead the energy transition in the UK towards an inclusive, affordable and greener energy system that works for everybody. And that's something that resonates through to our benefit strategy as well. We've got quite a diverse workforce of around 10,000 employees.
Yeah, and we've been working with E.ON now for about 18 months, and one of the things that was clear to us from the very beginning was quite how central that mission is to everything that you do and really everything in the way that you operate every day. But I think the thing that's become increasingly clear to us as our partnership with you has evolved is how kind of sincerely people-centric E.ON are as a business. There's a genuine desire right across the board to do well and to create that better employee experience. But let's start at the beginning, shall we? Would you mind sharing a little bit about the journey you've been on from a benefits technology perspective?
Yeah, sure. We already had a benefits platform and a mature suite of flexible benefits, over 30 flexible benefits spanning financial, physical and mental well-being, and almost 90% are available on an anytime basis. It includes things like an EV salary sacrifice car and charger, care concierge, a public transport travel pass and discounts on E.ON's products such as solar panels and air source heat pumps. But also there were a number of things that sat outside the benefits platform in terms of the wider colleague offer. Some changes in the benefits market meant that we went out to tender and to looking for a flexible benefit solutions partner. And we were really mindful that integrating a brand new benefits platform with all of our systems and for such a diverse workforce was no mean feat. Just to explain, we have a multi-generational workforce, but also quite diverse in terms of role, location and the systems that they use. Over 30% of our colleagues are field or home-based, for example, meter readers or electricians installing street lighting or EV installers. Over 40% don't have access to traditional work equipment like a laptop. And over half of our workforce is actually on an entirely separate core IT system, which had its own challenges because they have different communication methods and even a slightly different culture.
Yeah, so E.ON certainly is a pretty big and complicated beast when it comes to structure, to systems, to the benefits themselves. So, I know that selecting a partner that was capable of managing that complexity was really important. Can you share a little bit about what that implementation journey's looked like so far?
Yeah, so we're a small busy team, and we were really juggling BAU reward activity with the implementation project as well. So we needed a partner that had a proven track record that we could trust to deliver. And Gallagher came across quite early on as being really proactive and a good cultural fit for us. But also it became quite clear early on that Gallagher really got us as a company, and we felt a real sense that they'd be able to help us move our colleague journey as part of our EVP as well. From my perspective, the implementation actually felt like a bit of a non-event, which I don't mean to underplay all of the work that went on behind the scenes, but I think that's a real testament to the Gallagher and the E.ON implementation teams, particularly Helena Eyre at E.ON, who managed the project management from the E.ON side. We had a lot of IT systems that needed connecting up, and our IT lead actually said to me that the Gallagher's approach was proactive and pragmatic throughout. So it really went as smoothly as it could have done.
Great, I'm so pleased to hear that, and getting implementation right. For anybody who's been in any kind of involved in any kind of technology implementation project, you'll know that implementation phase is all important, not just for the success of that project as a standalone project, but also, for the wider implications, the knock-on effect if it doesn't go to plan, if it goes over budget or not on time. So pleased to hear that. Can you just give a bit of share a bit of a flavour of what some of the kind of key objectives were going into this?
Yeah. So we didn't just want to replace one benefits platform with another. We wanted the platform itself to be a step forward and ideally improve colleague engagement too. We wanted to give our colleagues a more human, intuitive, personalised benefits experience, and also push the boundaries in terms of a traditional flex benefit system to something that showcased a wider EVP. And we also needed a comms strategy that would reach our entire workforce. Then from a partner perspective, we didn't just want a yes-man technology vendor. We wanted someone that would really seek to understand us, who would challenge us a little, bring some insight to the table, and also grow with us as our needs and our objectives changed. So as most of you, I'm sure, will be aware, a project like this requires engagement with senior stakeholders, with IT, procurement, legal, payroll. And so we needed a partner that could lean into those conversations and also build relationships at all levels.
Yeah, and we certainly felt the pressure to a certain extent, because the E.ON team is pretty well established. It's small but experienced, and there's a real maturity there just from your own team's perspective, but also the suite of benefits. So we felt a certain pressure with that, but I think it's it's a dynamic that our team have really lent into, and that's indicative of the way that our client teams really engage with our clients, is that true sense of collaboration and partnership to drive towards your objectives. Can you share a little bit about what some of those successes have looked like in the first months of our?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt our partnership with Gallagher has helped us move forward our colleague experience. We've had plenty of feedback from our colleagues that the platform's modern and intuitive, but also it's more than just a FlexBend platform now. It showcases our wider EVP and brings to life what we stand for as a business. And by that, I mean, not only does it have flex benefits, a TRS and retail discounts, but it also links out to our learning and development platform, our D&I networks, our recognition scheme, information about our business purpose and ESG topics. Also, Gallagher helped us smooth out some of the manual workarounds that we had, which were kind of limiting us technically beforehand. And we went live with our annual enrolment window in February. I just want to share some statistics with you. So 76% of our colleagues accessed the benefits platform during the annual enrolment window, which was an increase of 3% on last year and is our best ever engagement in benefits yet. 63% of our colleagues selected more than one benefit, and that's an increase of 6% from last year. Phenomenally, our harder to reach colleagues, which are largely field operations, their take-up increased by 15% this year. We saved 710k in employer NI, which was an increase of 12% on last year, and we had 22,000 hits on our site during the 3-week annual enrolment window.
Wow. I mean, that's fantastic, really kind of off the charts levels of engagement, particularly for those harder to reach, frontline colleagues. It's always a challenge going into this type of project. I want to turn now to communication, because obviously to get those levels of engagement, the technology alone won't get there. So can you just share a little bit about what that communication strategy looks like?
Yeah. Well, we won at the Employee Benefit Awards last year for the best benefit communication, so we did have quite a good starting point. But more recently, we've been working with Gallagher to really drive further engagement and awareness. I feel like we've made a step forward in terms of personalisation through data analytics and automated comms, and I'll give you a few examples of this. When a colleague goes into the platform, they can select certain goals and interests, and then we can use this to think about the information that we share with them. When they select a benefit, it will suggest other benefits that might be relevant to them. We can now see page views, so we can see what colleagues are interested in. And then finally, when colleagues select a life event or payroll trigger and eligibility difference, then it will automatically open a lifestyle window and send colleagues an email.
Fantastic. And, I think you can see on the screen here some examples of what that kind of multi-channel communication support has looked like. We know communication is important, and the data backs that up.
Yeah.
One of our other big clients globally actually is Workday, and I saw a great quote from our executive sponsor, John, last week or two, said that there's no point kind of investing an amazing amount of money in a fantastic suite of benefits if you don't communicate it properly and create this kind of seamless employee experience, and likened that to trying to bake a cake and deciding just to throw the flour all over the kitchen. So it's making life unnecessarily difficult, and if you don't invest in this and really get that right.
Yeah.
So it's all important. I think actually we can see a video if just to kind of showcase the journey that part of that output, if that's right.
It's time to discover a world of benefits with My Benefits Plus. Your source for benefits, all in one place, accessible on any device, 365, 24/7. Explore financial, health, and well-being resources, tools, and information that support you and your family when you need it. Use My Benefits Plus to easily manage your benefits and choose what best suits your needs. Start exploring today and unlock your new world of benefits.
Yeah, our benefit comms definitely feels more digital and authentic now. So this was the promotional video that we used during annual enrolment. But we've also freshened our lifestyle image bank. We recorded a silent video of really young colleagues, which plays in the background of our benefits platform as well. And we filmed some colleague testimonial Vox Pox, which really helps with advocacy. And then also we've embedded some benefit-specific videos in our platform, which really helps with colleague understanding about individual benefits, because as you know, some people learn better through listening and other people learn better through reading.
Yeah, amazing. Absolutely love it. And so, and you're not just thinking about kind of current E.ON employees, are you, Hazel?
No, we're not. We're thinking about the broader employee life cycle, actually. We're developing a version of our benefits platform for candidates, which we're hoping to launch in the next few months. And the candidate modeler was actually something that attracted us to Gallagher during the tender process. And it'll allow candidates, once they've accepted an offer with us, to actually model their benefits and read some information about our EVP. And ultimately, we want to reduce attrition, but also boost candidate attraction as well.
Yeah. And, we've been thrilled that E.ON have decided to launch that offering. And actually, it's a great example of our client advisory board in action. So this is a group of our benefits tech clients that we bring together on a quarterly basis to network, to share, to learn from one another, but also to discuss areas that they might want accelerating and being able to have that active influence over our product's roadmap. So the candidate, the onboarding module was something that we'd discussed, and actually there was a real push that this is something that would appeal to E.ON, and so we've accelerated that up our kind of priority list in the product roadmap, and now all of our wider client base will reap the benefits of that to, as you say, drive better candidate attraction. Now, with this type of projects, there's always lessons learned and things we do differently. What would you say there?
The project timelines were really tight. With UAT, it always takes longer than you think, going backwards and forwards. And we were actually still testing some of the anytime functionality after we'd gone live, which wasn't ideal. Also, I think we had to escalate a few things. But actually, from the business, it seemed really seamless. And it's the smoothest implementation we've had. Yeah,
good. A little bit hairy at times, but good stuff. Well, just finally, Hazel, can you share a little bit about what the future looks like for E.ON and for your benefit strategy?
I mean, we're seeking to continuously raise the bar for our colleagues, and the landscape's changing rapidly, so it feels like you have to run to stand still. We want to continue working with Gallagher around driving our broader EVP, and I think there's something in comms, proactive comms, for preventative healthcare. I also want to continue along our digital journey and leverage AI if possible. And I know that the virtual AI assist is on your roadmap, so I'd be really keen to see more about that when it comes through.
Yeah, great, excellent. Well, I think with that, thank you very much, and would welcome any questions.
Yes, we have some.
All right,
we
excellent.
have the questions that are there. I'm going to go first of all. Give me one moment. I thought this was a question just expanding, I think, in terms of, I thought you were going to share something about how you specifically engage different generations across the workforce. Can you give insight into this, please? So you spoke about the different roles, I think. Is there anything in terms of different generations that you can bring to life?
Yeah. In the past, we've looked at different communications for different generations, certainly. But I think it's more about having an offer that appeals to everybody and making sure that the offer is fully understood so that the people can see that there's something there for everybody. I mean, for example, we have, anyone that came to the session this morning around multi-generational workforce, there's talk about, flexibility appeals to certain generations. Care concierge was mentioned, and we have that. Making sure that pensions are really understood. I think that's feels like a bit of a dark art. So I think it's all in the communication and just making sure that people can see what's on offer and having that comprehensive package.
Fantastic. Another question. How do you reach frontline offline workforce? It's a particular challenge in retail, reaching shop floors. Did you do anything?
Yeah, I mean, we do send letters to offline workforce, but we are trying to limit that as we move forward. So this year, our field colleagues, whilst they don't have emails, they go out into the field with handhelds, and we managed to get a link for our benefits platform and also the app for our discounts portal directly onto the handheld for field colleagues, which was a real win, and we saw a take up in benefits engagement amongst that population. So I think it's understanding what technology they do engage with and seeing if you can penetrate that.
Yeah, no, good shout.
I think I'd just add to that, the 15% uptick that you saw in frontline engagement is pretty remarkable, really. So, and that's where it comes down to, that point I made earlier about communication not being an afterthought, actually it being a core consideration when you're launching this type of platform. And as I think, for some it is, we see it too often, the way it's seen as a bit of an afterthought or a nice to have.
Yeah.
That's where we engage our specialist comms practice to work with the teams to really be strategic and data-led in terms of that comms strategy.
Yeah, good result on that one. Probably a little build on this in terms of from an engagement point. How are you thinking about using a benefits platform for areas beyond just benefits administration?
Yeah, I mean, I can start there. We've Hazel mentioned some of the areas that they're now connecting the technology out to. So to promote the fantastic work you're doing around CSR and well-being and recognition. But for me, and in our experience, it needs to be. You can only do that once you've got the foundations in place. So that's where, and when I say that, you've got the kind of basics right of administration working as it really should do. So silent administration, zero issues around payroll reporting and provider reporting, which we do here from other quarters, should we say. So making sure that you're able to, get the platform running without any kind of issues around employee experience, and only then really can you focus on those broader areas.
Yeah.
And that's where the conversation can then evolve into employee value proposition and actually taking that kind of holistic look at the EVP. Yeah,
too often the benefits administration can be really passive and transactional, and actually bringing the wider EVP into our benefits platform feels really progressive and has really moved the dial for us.
Fantastic. Anything different you've done for those less inclined to use technology, 20 to 30% who haven't engaged? Any thoughts around anything different you might do?
I think that's really our field population. And in the past, we've gone out and done focus groups at their regional team meetings when they do interact as larger teams. But I think it's trying to bring them on that digital journey and understanding, as I said, what digital pieces they are using and seeing if you can penetrate those. I think that's probably the best route.
Yeah.
Perfect. Slightly different one then. Are there any benefits that you feel are missing from your current offering?
We review the market every year, and obviously events like this are really helpful because you can see what the trends are. One thing that we think we're kind of looking at from a lifestyle perspective is kind of pet insurance, and a bit like you've got digital GP, maybe something similar for pets, for an online vet service. So that's something that we're kind of toying with the idea for at annual enrolment next year.
I agree. It's one that's been spoken about a lot, isn't it? Not sure how many are yet enrolled, but excellent. Okay, well, I think we're just coming to the end of this session. Any last thoughts that you want to?
Yeah, I mean, any more questions, or if anybody wants to have, just a casual conversation, we are just at stall. What's it called?
7. Did you say?
Number 7. Yes. So number 7, come and say hello, and we'd also be happy to give you the opportunity to win some tickets for the Women's World Cup final.
If that wasn't enough, is it the best prize of the day here?
I think
Sounds
so.
it so
Gotta
far
be.
to me.
It's Twickenham in September, so yeah,
Sounds
please
it to
come along
me.
and say hi.
Perfect. Excellent. Just before people leave, they wouldn't mind quickly going on Slido, just giving feedback. I think it's a longer break for lunch now, and a quick round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you.